Welcome to the War Room. Today we have assistant Illini wrestling coach Mike Poeta, the legend, with one of his star pupils, Duncan. They're going to talk about next season, the coronavirus, wrestling Ben Askren, and cartoons. But first, an important announcement from Coach Poeta. Okay, Coach, you got something planned for us?
Yeah, so we're doing an event in a couple weeks, a fundraiser for the RTC. There's a lot of other RTCs involved. There's a lot of superstar wrestlers that are going to be involved. So just a big announcement coming in the next couple days.
We'll come back to Coach Poeta in a minute, but first, Duncan. Three-time national qualifier. He took third place in Big Tens. He's a cadet Fargo champ and a rising senior.
It's great to meet you.
Oh, Dylan, it's great to talk to you. Well, I want to start off with canceling the NCAA tournament. What went through your mind? What's going on through your mind now?
Oh, man. Like with the coronavirus, I figured that they would just push it through because it was like a week or two right before nationals. I was actually like about to practice. I was like starting my warm-up when Poeta came up to me and was like, "I'm sorry, man, like season's over." And I thought he was just like messing with me or something. I didn't believe it for a little bit almost until like one of the older guys on the team. I saw how he reacted, because it was his last year, and like that's when it started getting a lot more that it wasn't going on. I mean, obviously it was like super sad because like I felt like in years past, like I don't know, like my head was out of it sometimes, and like now that I was starting to get older, I was starting to zero in a little bit more on nationals and like just taking the year as it was, and going into it. Whereas like the other years, I think I was like mentally beat up. So that's like that kind of is what hurt the most. Because I felt like I was like finally ready type of thing, like freshman sophomore year. I mean, I didn't do well freshman sophomore year or anything, but like I don't know, like I didn't feel like my head was in it the same way. I don't know. I felt like I was actually like really ready for that time. And then like now, I just kind of accept it. Like I can be mad and cry about it and like do whatever, but like there's really nothing I can do to change it. Like I'll never like. That's a point in time where I'll never get back, and you can never do anything about that, and like just being mad at yourself is really like only detrimental because it's like I said, there's just something you can't change.
Well, what about injuries that you've had in the past? I know you were pulling some weight a couple years ago. This seems like a perfect opportunity this year for all those good things to align for you, at least for your senior season, your final campaign. How do you look at that?
Quarantine was, obviously I wasn't happy about it getting canceled and stuff, but like it was almost good in a way because I took like 2 months and literally did like almost nothing. It was almost bad when I actually started losing weight because I wasn't doing much. I literally did like pretty much nothing, just trying to like recover my body. This is my last year of college, so I like enjoyed it a little bit, did whatever, and now I'm starting to wrestle again, and get back into it, and like get my mind sharp. I felt like it was, good. I mean, it's not good that like nationals were canceled and whatnot, but almost like good in a sense that like it was more time to like it was time to really reset myself a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what weight are you looking at going next season?
41.
41. Okay. What's the outlook for the team? What do you think about it?
Team-wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty happy. I think, the guys you lost at certain weights, obviously, like, no one's, like, quote-unquote replaceable. Everyone's a valuable asset to the team. But with the seniors that graduated, we have guys that are filling the weights. So I think we might be a little bit stronger than we were last year. You never know. Obviously, it depends on, like, the team dynamic, where everyone's heads are at. But I don't know. I think we can do better than last year, really.
What do you look at as far as Piotrowski being your coach? How do you deal with that?
I mean, it's weird because me and Travis were roommates for 2-3 years, and so he's one of my buddies. But it's definitely weird because I lived with the guy for.
Well, he's also had an incredible season last year. Can you speak about that? What did he do? What did he change? Did he get his mind in the game? How did it work out for him like that?
I think it all came together pretty well for Travis because he's the kind of guy that is pretty consistent. Usually, it feels like, and I don't know. Maybe it's the way his muscles are. He's real quick and springy, and he wrestles around his strengths a lot. I think he also has a really good mental. Like he just goes out there he doesn't really have too many off nights, you know. He does really well with that.
Well, I always said that you remind me of a professional baseball player, a shortstop, with your crisp, clean moves. You've seen shortstops taking ground balls, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're very crisp, they're very clean. It's not all muscle memory, but it's like done with muscle memory and a flair. How would you describe your wrestling style?
Oh man, that's tough. I like to think to myself, I don't really think I'm like a bruiser per se, because like I hand fight, but I'm not clubbing hard and stuff. But I'd probably describe myself as, oh man, I don't know, I couldn't describe my style really. It's just like who I am.
When you're going in for a takedown, it seems like you have an exact idea what you want to do and you do it smoothly. Is that from lots of practice? Is that just your coordination? How do you do that?
Tons of practice, and then like just the mindset of like, even like growing up, I was never that good at getting. I was always like, you know, through high school I was like a good wrestler, but like my weak areas were like getting into shots, and so like, but my strong area was finishing shots. So like my mindset, like every time I get a shot is a lot of times like I gotta finish this, because I don't know how many more times I'm gonna be in here, you know, like I gotta like hang on to it and get everything I can. I try not to ever lose legs when I'm holding on to it, even if it's like a stalemate. For me, it's like I can't lose it, because I gotta get that takedown.
Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant in Champaign-Urbana?
Ooh, I'm a big fan of Black Dog.
Black Dog. It must have sprung up since I left.
Great call. I ate there 2 nights ago. Barbecue place. It's really good.
Oh yeah?
I like Scotty's too, but like they're kind of like more diverse, you know, a lot of different foods. The Black Dog's like barbecue, super good. You gotta try it.
What about your favorite cartoon?
I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender. It just came out on Netflix. Super good.
Never seen it. At least you didn't say Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Your coach one time said Scooby-Doo. He got
It was multiple choice though.
That's true.
I wouldn't have thought that.
That's true. Okay, you got me there. Now, what's your hardest class that you've had in college?
Probably calc.
Calc.
Calc was a doozy, man.
So,
Dylan's a really good student.
well,
No, I'm a bad student. no, he's not. He's in an impressive major, and he does a good job.
so what's the major?
I'm in technical systems management, and then I'm also getting my master's in professional. I'm getting professional science master's in technical systems management, and it's basically major around like construction and project management. So I actually did an interview yesterday with a roofing company, and like I'm just looking to do things like, you know, managing people, logistics, like figuring out like the battle plan kind of thing for the day, with the workers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I want to do with my life, you know.
Well, that's wild. I know when I was in school, I took a class called Elementary Functions. It was the easiest math class they had, and I got an F in it. And when I took it, when I took it the second time, I got a D, and I was so happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
when you finally pass it, dude, it's such a relief.
so. Who's been looking good? Yeah, well, I guess you haven't been to having any team practices lately, have you?
No, we haven't been able to do anything.
Okay.
Well, we haven't been able to do anything through the university, yeah.
What about your individual workouts?
Who's looking at basketball? I work out occasionally with like Matt Wolinski's there every once in a while. Johnny Malgousas. I actually see Johnny a decent amount. I think Johnny looks pretty good. I think he's ready to take the spot where Eric left off, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with that. Just adding on, the past 3 months, I've been really proud of Johnny. He's been he's been really dedicated. Yeah, I think because he wanted to start last year, but Eric, I know they went at it, like in the rest laps and stuff. So I think Johnny's ready to show the coach that he should have been starting the last 2 years type of thing. I think that's his mindset, you know.
Well, that's good. That's a good mindset.
Yeah, I can't say whether he should have or shouldn't have started, but I think he wants to show that he should have, you know.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, and he can make 157.
Yeah.
That's,
He wouldn't be cutting a lot of weight for that.
That's crazy. What was he doing in high school wrestling 170?
But to be honest, I have no idea why he did that. I don't know if himself or his coaches know. Yeah, he wrestled. I heard he always weighed in at 63 and 64. I just don't think he felt like cutting it out or doing all that.
Okay. What about Mike Carr? Is he going to be back?
Yeah, Mike. I think Mike is in a really good place in his head right now. I think a lot of it has to do with injuries with Mikey, and it's nothing structural. It's just there's just one thing that is just not cooperating, and that's what kept him out of the season last year. So I think if Mikey you got to reel him in a little bit. Mikey overtrained every single time you let him. So we need to protect him a little bit and keep his body healthy. And I think that as a coaching staff, that just has to be our job for Mikey Carr. Let him train how he wants and do what he wants because he does it right. But we need to then grab him and drag him down to the locker room.
Yeah. Well,
Mikey was that was a big problem I thought with Mikey because he's just a crazy man, and he'll just do way too much, and that contributes a lot to injuries because your body only recovers so fast, and you break it down in certain ways that they don't some things just don't heal quickly, and then even if you do little things the most simple things can just create a chain reaction in your body, mess up your ankle, and then all of a sudden you're walking funny and your hips suck now,
That's
that kind of thing too,
That's exactly right. Well, what about the weight below your weight? Is Lucas Bird coming on? How's it look?
I don't know. I have to see him in the room. It seems like Lucas is the guy now for 33. I can't speak to that because there's always, you never know when someone's gunning for a spot.
Yeah, I figure they could have what I said was an 8-person cage match for 133, and it would be like a Royal Rumble. It would be awesome. Well, Dylan, I think that's all the questions I have for you now. I'm a big fan, but if Coach would stay on the line, I could ask him a couple more questions.
Okay, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you, Dylan.
Have a great day.
You
Dylan,
too.
good stuff. I'll see you later. See you guys.
Hey, Coach?
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about what you guys were doing as far as the quarantine, the self-isolation. What about recruiting? How are you handling that?
We're meeting with the team weekly. We're constantly staying in contact with them. I would say every guy in the team is hearing from, talking to, and some kind of communication with a coach every single day. We're hoping that we can things loosen up and it gets less strict, and we want to get with our guys. I mean, it's been 3 months, and it's it's time. There's something to them training on their own and having a little bit more of a break. We kind of talked about that with Mikey Carr overtraining. So I think this could be a good thing, the time that they had. But really, right now, we're scratching and clawing and itching to get back together and train. But as far as when that is, I don't know, and I don't think our administration 100% fully knows.
Okay. Well, what about recruiting?
So recruiting, it opens up for the juniors June 15th, so Monday. So I had to meet up with Coach Heff and Coach Hunter. It was the first time I saw them in 3 months. So since I've been back in Champaign for 3 years, I've probably never gone more than 4 or 5 days without being around them. And it's pretty much every day. So it was kind of weird seeing them in person. But we had to get together because we are sending all the kids letters. And we like to put them all together in a big envelope. So we think it has a little bit more impact when the kid opens up the envelope and there's a letter written to him from everybody on staff. So we got them together. I went over to FedEx to make sure that they got them exactly on Monday. And that was recruiting. We have a lot of stuff planned for Monday. We have a lot of cool stuff. Sometimes it gets to borderline cheesy, but we communicate a lot with the football recruiters. And the football team has people that they're hired just to recruit. That's the only job they do. So they're very helpful to us with a lot of good ideas.
I love your social media presence. I'm not on Instagram. Well, I guess I am, but I haven't been there. But I'm on Twitter, and I see what you're doing there. And what the University of Illinois does as far as graphics is outstanding. And I wanted to ask you about your summer workout tournament that you had on Twitter that I saw.
Oh, yeah. So with the meeting with the guys once a week on Zoom, we tried to be creative and never get stale with it. So it wasn't just a meeting once a week and it was just cold calling. Like, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Because no one really had any more information. All we knew is we need to keep training. We need to keep getting better and take advantage of this time. So Travis Piotrowski came up with, hey, why don't we do a full-on workout graphic? where guys will, instead of us talking to them about their workouts and them telling us what they did, they'll film it, they'll send it in, and we'll do just like a cool bracket. It'll go on for a couple of weeks, and we'll try and be like funny with it, where not only is the workout taken into account, but also like how creative you are with putting the video together. And Johnny Baldusis, like I was talking about before, I mean, Johnny has just done a great job this summer, and he worked out extremely hard and sent in the best videos, and he ended up winning. But it's just continuing ways to compete. We got to just keep competing and trying to get better. So it was just like one of 15 ideas we've had to keep these guys motivated during this time.
Yeah, I loved following it. I watched the videos. They were excellent and pretty high quality stuff too.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. A lot of the guys really got into it.
Yeah, well,
some of the guys didn't take it so serious. I mean, like Mikey Carr, for example. Mikey Carr is blue collar, roll up your sleeves, no nonsense. So to ask Mikey Carr to get on iMovie or Final Cut Pro and make a video like that, like a highlight video of himself, he would probably rather do anything in the world. And so, I mean, it was like impossible for him to participate in something like this, just because the way he is, and we get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I actually, a part of me likes that. I love that side of Mikey, of who he is. Mikey is no kumbaya.
yeah.
It's just effing business.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to have to use some of that footage in the interview podcast, if that's okay with you.
No, yeah, absolutely. You can use anything.
That is just fantastic. I mean, that's people want to see that stuff. Okay, a tough question for you, Coach Poeta. IMR leaving. What's happening there?
Isaiah he got presented a great opportunity. So Chris Pendleton and Isaiah went to the same high school, so I don't know if a lot of people know that. So their relationship has always been very tight. And when Pendleton got the job at Oregon State, Isaiah was one of the first guys that he thought of and contacted. And it really, really weighed on Isaiah. I think Isaiah has like the utmost respect for Medlin, Hef, and Hunter. And it was an extremely hard decision, but I think it's an opportunity to get back to the West Coast. It's an opportunity to like maybe move up the ladder of coaching a little quicker. So he just looked at it as, man, I don't know if I'll have this opportunity again in the near future. And it's a bummer losing him. Isaiah being around is just guys seeing what he does even on the side, like the way that he'll be doing pull-ups and Bulgarian bag and the ropes and everything. And for the guys, when you see it and you go, that guy's a national champ, that guy has what I have, and when you can replicate it, that goes such a long way. And then Isaiah also, just technique-wise and being able to wrestle with the guys, he was great. But like our program has to move on. So I mean, in the past 3-4 weeks since it became official, we've been really hustling to looking at getting some more guys.
Yeah, well, sad in a way, but you got to move on and got to do what's best for you. And wish Imar well. And I know what I wrote about it was that Coach Pendleton now has a very, very precious thing in his hands, and he better take good care of it.
Absolutely.
Okay. What about?
And when like with Isaiah leaving, I'm Isaiah fan, and I'm a friend, and I want Oregon State to freaking thrive. I want Illinois to take first with the NCAA as a team, and I want Oregon State to take second. I don't want them to beat us. They ain't beating us.
Of course not. So, Coach, what are the battles looking like for weight classes next season for the Illini?
I think all the guys that started last year pretty much have solidified themselves and have continued to get better on top of it. And I think between Cardani, Luckman, Bronigles, Robluski, Duncan, like the guys that are there, I believe that they are going to have breakout seasons, even more so than they've had. Luke Luckman needed that 1 year. He needed that year to know that he belonged. And he's done some training over the summer. He's gotten in front of some really good people. Like one of the guys that was in the Big Ten Finals at heavyweight this year. He's had an opportunity to train with him a little bit. And as long as Luke knows he belongs, Luke is really, really good. Luke is about as smooth and as athletic of a heavyweight as you can ask for. I think it was just he didn't believe in himself enough. So I think Luke just needed 1 year, and I think he's going to be a heavyweight that's going to be really really frightening to some other people next year. I think the battles are going to be 33, 57, 74. I think that's where someone needs to step up and really prove they're going to be the guy. I think 2 of the weight classes, someone has decided, I'm the man. I don't care what you guys are doing. I am the man. And I think there's one other of those 3 that it's like, man, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's interesting. I always thought that Luke Luffman, after what I saw this year, had the most potential to improve over anybody else in the NCAA. I mean, he's got the athletic ability. It's obvious. And he's got some skills, some moves, and just had to get big enough, strong enough, and will it in his mind. It's the way I looked at it.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think the will it in his mind is like, should just be all capitalized. Not that he's all heart, but I think he just, and this is what a lot of guys do. I think they just don't think they're good enough or they belong when they get to the next level, because Luke's been watching Gable Stevenson his whole life and watching Gable Stevenson win world titles and dominate. So being 2 years younger and then getting into college, I mean, you just feel like you have no business. You're an anomaly when you step in and you beat those guys immediately. When you have the mindset to do that, those are like, man, some very, very, very mature kids who have their head on like 100% straight, or they might not even be normal for being able to do that. But you put the guys on such a high pedestal, and it takes getting in there to know that you can beat them. No one before Luke wrestled Mason Paris, Cassiope, or Gable Stevenson, he doesn't have any clue that he has a chance to beat them until he gets his hands on them and feels that they're human beings. No one's as good as you think or you make them out to be. So Luke, like exactly what you said, Greg, it's that it was that 1 year, and I think you said it perfectly. He's going to improve next year more than anybody in the NCAA. I thought you were going to say he's going to be more improved than anyone on Illinois, but you got to take it further. It's the NCAA. But at the same time, I can tell you that Cardani and the Broncos are going to be in that same boat.
Wow, that's great, because they were fantastic last year.
And if you think about this, Justin was always really small. He's a 2A kid. He's flying under the radar. At his senior year at Fargo, he takes 7th at 113. So when he's about to start college in a month, he probably had already started summer school, maybe. No, I'm actually not sure, but he was just about to start school. He wrestled 113 and took 7th at Fargo. He has blown past every single person since then. Like, he not only did he win us a ton of duels, he had like major wins during the year. And then he beat D'Agostino, hovered around 6 to 10 all season. So Justin Cardani and I think he's the same as Luke. He just needed to know he belonged. He needed that, and then the Broncos needed to continue to improve and tighten up their hand fighting and how to smother a guy and like maybe little tricks on how to break someone. So they were close. I feel like if they threw 4 things at the guy, and then it would have been that 5th one that would have broken them. And they had it in them, absolutely. It's just a little bit more experience with it.
That's fascinating. Thanks, Coach. That was interesting. I also want to run back and talk about how you said that somebody who comes in with a mindset to dominate as a freshman might not be normal. I think that's fascinating. I never thought about it like that, but you know what? I think you're right.
How do you truly believe in your mind, truly tough, that you can beat, if you're in high school, that you can beat Isaiah Martinez? When you've seen him on ESPN, dominate an NCAA final, beat Jason Golf in the NCAA finals, and you're in high school, I mean, how do you think you can beat him? That's amazing to me, but I guess maybe they don't think that. Maybe because, like, I wrestled Ryan Torello my freshman year, and he was ranked number 1, and I didn't think I had any business beating him, and it went to overtime, and I clearly could have. So,
well, you clearly did.
Yeah. So, like, the funny thing about that is, I doubled him, put him down to his butt, and it was like 100% a takedown. I can't remember the guy. Chuck Yagla was reffing, and I had my hand and like my wrist were like so messed up for that match. It was all taped up. And so I had a double on the mat. It definitely was a takedown. And Chiarello started getting his legs away from me, where I thought I was going to like lose the takedown and be extended underneath him on a single. And he had a volleyball knee pad on, and I'm a freshman. It's at home, Western Michigan. If I win this match, we're definitely going to win the duel. With what's remaining in the duel, we're ranked 2nd. They're ranked 3rd in the country. Huff is there's
there's not an empty seat, and I'm not losing this match. I grabbed his knee pad. I grabbed his knee pad and I pulled it as hard as I could to me and grabbed the other leg and got a takedown. But Yagla blew the whistle and gave him a penalty point for that. And I was trying to explain to Yagla that the tape was stuck to his knee pad. I didn't grab it. The tape was stuck around it. I didn't do that. And he was like rolling his eyes. He's like, "Kid, okay, shake this guy's hand and get off the mat." Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, I was one of those in the standing room only crowd, and I didn't see the knee pad grab. I was just very, very pissed off.
Oh, well, thank you for the support. But the knee pad grab, like sometimes you got to bend the rules a little bit. But the knee pad grab was after Yagla did give me a clear-cut takedown.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: talking about wrestling matches, you wrestled Ben Askren.
Yep.
What was that like? Wasn't he like 190 pounds or something?
So there's a funny story about this. I don't care saying it. Askren won't be mad, but so Askren actually called me up himself. He was trying to put together like not like one of those like pro wrestling things where there's been like 50 of them that have been tried. I don't know why they keep failing, but so Askren called me and said, "Hey, would you wrestle me in this event?" And we agreed on it. And he weighed 185, let's say, and I weighed 165, 170. So we agreed on 75. So I never looked at a scale the entire time I was training. I knew it was irrelevant. And when we get to weigh-ins, I weigh in at 73, 74, whatever it is, and Askren's 76 and a half. And they go to me, they go, like, do you care, like, if he makes it? Like, they go, we'll give you, they were paying me X amount, and they said, we'll give you an extra $500 if he doesn't have to make weight. And I go, honestly, I would rather him suffer so he's not as big of a. Like, I want like a sucked out, not as good version, more so than $500. So Askren went back. I don't know if he was trying to cut any more weight, but then the promoter came to me and he just handed me $500. And so that's like where we just took it from there. That by him handing me the money, he was telling me, hey, we're gonna go along with Plan B.
Well,
if you watch that match, I really, really do like Ben Askren. If you watch the match and you add up the score in your head, if you're not looking at the scoreboard, I'm curious what people say because it almost seems like it was lopsided the other way with him somehow winning.
I haven't watched it in a while. I'm going to watch it again, and I'm probably going to steal some clips from that video for this because, I mean, that's downright awesome.
But it was three 3-minute periods.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 9-minute match.
It's crazy.
Askren's in really good shape, and Askren, everything's a negative when you wrestle Askren. He grabs your wrist and he's pulling on it slowly down to the mat. He's on your head, he's slowly pulling it down, and he's heavy with it. He's really strong. So you are just doing negative the whole time you're wrestling him. So 9 minutes, that scared the hell out of me. I remember in between the second and third period, so Askren was standing up, getting toweled off, and I was laying down on the mat on the side. And they came up to me and they said, during the break, they said, we're gonna give Askren a point because you stepped out 2 minutes prior and we didn't see it. But someone told us. And that was the most absurd thing. And I go, honestly, if you give me another 30 seconds, give him the point. And we both wanted to win. We trained hard, but it was kind of it was entertainment purposes. I wasn't taking it that serious.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're working on buying a souvenir at a Marrakesh stall.
Yeah, it was a cool event. It might actually, as I'm saying that it wasn't as serious, because obviously there was nothing on the line. It wasn't a real competition, but it was a little kids tournament. Askren ran a little kids tournament, and then we did this duel after. So the little kids tournament tried to bring in the fans, and then we tried to get them to stay. So it was both things happened. So this was when I was running a club. So I brought my team. Askren had his team. So one side of the mat had 57 to 13-year-olds who are obsessed with Ben Askren, and then on the other side, 57 to 13-year-olds who, I hate to say it like this, but were obsessed with me because I was the young, cool coach, just like Askren was to them. So you had these kids who looked up to you so much, mat side, just along it, and going nuts. So the pressure on that one actually was pretty big before.
I remember that. I remember all those kids around there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We definitely have to get video of that into the interview. Well, let me ask you this, Coach. 2010 World Cup wrestling in Moscow. What's that whole experience like?
That was so cool to me. I mean, I live in the past with that a lot. Like, I talk about it so much. Like, that was probably one of the cooler wrestling experiences I ever had. But when I went out there, I was Luke Luffman. I belonged, and I could have beat them, but I thought they were too good. I went 2-2, but the guy from Iran and the guy from Azerbaijan, if I would have wrestled and believed in myself, I had a chance. So I wrestled out there the guy that Burroughs beat in the Olympic finals, the guy from Iran, Gudarzi, and he ended up beating me 3-2. But I was too passive. I wasn't offensive enough.
You're an offensive guy. I mean, that's what you do on the mat. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my niche is being explosive and being able to score quick. And if you're not doing what your best stuff against a guy that was in the Olympic finals, you don't have a chance.
Well, what about being a tweener? Weren't you kind of light for that weight?
If they had 154 like they do now, that's 70 kilos, that would have been so perfect. I was never cutting weight. Like, when I wrestled 57 in college, I probably weighed 57 for every single practice. And then going right from there into kind of like an Olympic cycle from 2010 to 2012, and I was training the exact same way, and I kind of just stayed the same size. Yeah, it was, here, this is an example. So we weighed in the day before. I was training with Andrew Howell, and we got on the scale on Monday. And the Olympic trials were like Friday and Saturday. So we had to weigh it maybe like 3 or 4 days later. And I weighed 165. The weight class was 163. Howell weighed, let's see, he was something like 17 or 18 pounds over. So we were going to wrestle in the same bracket in 5 days. He was naturally 20 pounds heavier than me. And Andrew's just so mentally tough, that he could suck that much water out of them and then recover and wrestle at 185 pounds, which it was. It's not an excuse, but if they had 70, that would have been like really, really good. It would have changed what I did during those years.
Yeah, I think so too. I definitely think so. Well, Coach,
especially because when I was wrestling, you weigh in the day before.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right. Holy cow. That's exactly right. And so these guys go out and have dinner. They drink tons of water, and they come back and they weigh 20 pounds more. Holy cow.
Sure. I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
If it was the day of weigh-ins like it is now, that would have really helped. That because you can't suck that much weight and function in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You need that whole night to recover.
Yeah. Well, hey, Coach, do you have any other cool stories to tell?
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff because Dylan was coming on. I just wanted to talk about Dylan. When I first got to Illinois, Dylan he had his redshirt year and he was about to be started. Like his first time after like his redshirt freshman year, he's about to go out there. And Jeremy Hunter's word is, I take it like gospel, because Hunter, he doesn't talk unless it's like 100% true. There's no BS to Jeremy Hunter, and I really value his opinion. And when I got there, we were watching Dylan wrestle, and Hunter said, "This kid is so good, he can easily be a 4-time All-American." And the praise of that is like, when him saying that, I go, all right, it's not. Dylan Duncan is going to be ridiculous. And I think Dylan said it himself. He was cutting too much weight, and he wasn't focused enough, and that's why his first 2 years he didn't necessarily have like what he's capable of. But he did break out his freshman year at the Big Tens, taking third. He had a really impressive Big Ten. Lost a barn burner to Pletcher, beat McKee, beat Renteria from Oak Park on the way back. And Renteria that year was actually doing really well. So Dylan was kind of saying his head's getting more straight, and it is. But Dylan is capable of like insane more. So I hope that it just keeps he keeps maturing, he keeps focusing like he was talking about. And his senior year, I think something of what Jeremy Hunter was saying is going to come out.
Yeah.
And like you were asking Dylan what his wrestling style is. Dylan is, I would say he's strong, and he's got like a really good niche climbing up on the right side. and getting the scores. Nobody sucks a leg in better than Dylan Duncan. He is so freaking strong in there. So him saying I could pull legs in. He was talking about when he was maybe in high school. Yeah, Dylan can suck a leg in anywhere. But when you're cutting down to 33, you're cutting a serious amount of weight. That one time, all that power it takes, you're done. You don't have enough in you to suck legs in that hard throughout it for 7 minutes.
Yeah, I understand that.
How about Dylan even more? Dylan in high school beat Yanni in the Fargo finals.
I've watched that on video a couple of times.
So we just need Dylan to kind of just do what he said. Make sure his focus is on point, and then that's the kid that we know that's in there.
I just want to tell you one thing from my past experience. When I was wrestling and playing football, I think I went all out twice. I mean, all out. And it's shameful for me to say that, but it's true. And it only happened, I think, because a coach got in my face and said, you've got to do this. And maybe called me a couple names, and maybe those names were deserved, but that got me going. And I know I've never been a coach of anything other than Little League baseball, but these athletes that you deal with are older. They maybe aren't going to respond as well as they should to something like that. But maybe speak to that. How do you get people psyched up? How do you get them ready for a match?
Well, everybody's different, and relating this to Dylan, it's like we actually really started doing this with the Zoom meetings, having the kids fill out questionnaires, and we wanted to know who was their favorite coach, why were they their favorite coach, how do you want to be coached? If you do everything we say, do you think you're going to accomplish your goal? Things like that, because we really want to find out. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to respond to different stuff. And Dylan said to me towards the end of the season, and he's like, Coach, this is going to sound a little weird. I go, what's up? He goes, can you be meaner to me? And I'm like very positive. I really like pointing out the positive of what guys were doing, and that helped me. I really like that. If I was drilling and the coach yelled out, "Nice, Poeta," or something like that, that motivated me. I went hard for that. But so everyone needs to be coached different. So Dylan said, "Can you be meaner? Like, can you be way harder on me? Like, as hard as you can be, I take it." And I go, like Izzy? And he goes, "Yep." So it's like going back to like how certain people need to be coached. I think Dylan kind of feels like he got the most out of himself with being coached a certain way, and so we kind of we didn't have a whole season of that. But I just really like that he made himself accountable. Like, he's like, I don't care if I cry, if I complain, if I want to leave right now. I'm telling you, do this. So that was pretty cool, pretty mature.
Yeah, pretty mature as well. Well, Coach, thank you for your time, man. This has just been a party for me, and I appreciate it.
Greg, anytime.
Well, you take care and stay safe, please.
All right, you too.